record. Okay, now we're recording again. So, okay, great. In closing, we just want to get some feedback from everyone. Just what did you like about the experience today? You know, just kind of any. Oh, Judith is there. Cool. Okay, so we just want to get some feedback for the last 12 minutes here. Go around and hear from everyone. Like, what did you like about the experience, and maybe any suggestions, you know, going forward? So I like and I wish. What do you wish for? And I'll just call on people here and go around from the top. And David, you're at the top here.
Hey, yeah, I always get something out of this. There's a few times where I really had to bite my tongue because I just wanted to jump right in there, and usually that's in response to me having a kind of a short attention span. And if I do that, then I lose it, but then maybe that's something I'm supposed to learn from all this is to think before it acts sometimes. And what I would wish for is, again, I'd reiterate maybe a later time. You know, I think we might get a different crowd, you know, and I would be a little bit more awake, you know, so it'd be, I'd like to see how it turns out. You know, I think we would get it would be different if we did it later. It'd be worth a shot.
Okay, I'm actually the next person here in the square, so I'll go. I always get a lot out of it. It seemed like a depth. We got into trauma and that, so it seemed to go deeper, and really appreciate that, and talking about that. And I have a lot of hope in the process that if we can get more people, you know, learning this process, that we can spread it and replicate it, because it is very easy to replicate, and I think very effective. So that's what I would wish for. We keep spreading it and building on it. Marky, you're next.
I really appreciated the opportunity to dialogue, and I appreciated the ways that each person was willing and able to really be present with what arose for them in the moment. And one of the ways I knew that was happening was that there were surprising things that showed up. And to me, that always speaks of authenticity, which I like, and I especially appreciate it because it's the thing that I find lacking in the political spectrum is depth and authenticity. So I like that.
Okay.
That's it. Thanks.
Thanks. Sam?
Yeah, I always appreciate these too, and I feel like I learn new things, and I think I learn how to see things in a different way, and I appreciated and I was also surprised at the depth that occurred. But I also feel like the times that I've participated in these, I always feel at the end like the conversation is so incomplete. Like there's like I could just keep going for hours and before you really get to all the nooks and crannies of it. And I don't know, I guess I'm just trying to think of how to maybe address that, or if it needs to be addressed. But I appreciated how we did the breakout sessions and how we kind of reduced the size of the group. And I think that's helpful too, because it gives each person more time to be able to speak and more back and forths to happen. So maybe even smaller groups, but I also get that you want a range of opinions and viewpoints as well. So that gets challenging. And then maybe another suggestion might be to be more specific with the topic, because I feel like when we start really broad, everybody sort of goes in 10 different directions, and there's so many different veins you can go in. And I guess that's one way to do it. It's not a bad thing, but maybe another way is to get extremely specific and kind of really explore in depth one very small piece of that whole conversation. You know, so maybe there could be like some of these piggybacking off of each other. Like we could take what developed from one empathy circle and then decide as a group, like what small thread of that do we want to explore in more depth, and then pick it up, maybe have like a sequence. Just a thought that kind of occurred to me. but again, I love participating in these, and feel that it just really helps my own personal growth and development, and just open-mindedness and flexibility. And it's great.
Thanks for those nuanced suggestions too. Corey?
It's interesting because like there is so much left unsaid at the end of it, and yet I don't think I can really imagine trying to do this longer than 2 hours. Like I feel like it takes a lot out of me, and I don't think I'm the only one who experiences it being like kind of a really exhausting and effortful to participate in. But it's really, I keep showing up, so I must think something about it. It would be really interesting. It would be really interesting to see like how discussion unfolded around like one very small and specific thing. But I also have like the format of like people just kind of bringing whatever is alive for them. And in our group, we kind of delved more into trauma and the function of trauma, and like how it works on our brains. And I think that was helpful in a lot of ways. Yeah, that's. Okay. I'm glad that this exists, and even though it's hard.
Thank you.
I guess thank you all for being here.
Tyler?
As always, I, like everybody, got something out of it. I think for those of you who don't know my background, I spent quite some time in some wilderness survival programs where we did this for, believe me, way longer than 2 hours. And it is extremely exhausting. I realize that I am like marathon trained to do this. But at the same time, again, those of you who don't know my background, I did deploy to Afghanistan and Africa in the military. And I have witnessed the power of empathy to literally stop war in its tracks. Like, this is what we're doing is effective. And I want to iterate that from a military standpoint, that like, this is no BS. This really works. And I really believe in it.
Thank you, Tyler. Evan?
Yeah, always enjoy getting a chance to meet with new people and hear their thoughts. It's really interesting. I definitely learned something new. And it's helping meet my need for connection and community and self-expression, I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Oceana?
Needs met for hope and effective communication and deep listening. And I don't have any suggestions right now. I maybe as I process more, since this is my first time, but I definitely really enjoyed the process and feel grateful.
Okay, thank you. And Judith? And you're muted. There you go.
So I guess I always love hearing people's experiences and what causes them to feel in a certain way. I thought we were going to just talk about, politics, and then we talked about things like abortion and homelessness and interracial children. We just talked a lot about things, and I think what's so amazing, what I was reminded of, is that we really all are just people together with different backgrounds and things, where we hear each other. We have a commonality. And I'm really pleased to have been on the call. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for taking part. Again, we'll be meeting next week, same time, actually for the next ongoing Saturdays we have this time. And as we sort of scale up, we'll be adding more times, maybe later in the afternoon, so we have more radical group, according to David. And there's also a poll that I put up for times, and it seems like Fridays and Mondays was also good for some people. So maybe we'll expand to those days. So we're starting here, on a weekly basis. We'll expand from here, kind of ramp up. And we are working on getting a facilitators group together, and that will be starting in, several weeks. We'll be announcing that so you can come together. We'll be exploring the empathy circle process. Like one meeting, we just talk about being the speaker. What's our experience being the speaker? What's the experience being the listener? What is it like to facilitate? So we'll be going into depth. So everyone's, if you've done a few of these, then you're welcome to join the facilitator group.
So is that like an orientation for new facilitators? Yeah,
it'll be an orientation to kind of get familiar with the process, go deeper into it. And so just putting a heads up for that. And thanks to Evan for doing this is actually, I had been calling this the empathy circle. So it's kind of like where we bring everyone together, sort of an empathy cafe, and then we break into smaller empathy circles. So kind of redefining the terms, and thanks to Evan for, facilitating. It really takes two people to.
More of a square.
It's the empathy square.
Thing going on.
Let's call it the empathy squares. Well, with that happy, humorous note, we'll end it. And thanks, everyone.
Unfortunately, we'll not be able to participate next week, but I will see you guys in the future.
Okay, look forward to that. Thanks.
I won't be able to either, unfortunately, but I'll definitely be participating more in the future.
Yeah. Well, come when you can. Yeah, it's an open forum, so it's really about whatever works for you. So it's really